Hi everyone, it's Miriam Ortiz y Pino with More Than Organized. I'm a certified professional organizer and simplicity expert. And thank you so much for joining me here on the Facebook Monday Live More Than Organized Monday event. Today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how to store your Christmas ornaments and your holiday decor in an easy way. I'm kind of a minimalist when it comes to decorating. All of my holiday things fit in 4 small bins. Except for my tree, which collapses down, and I'll tell you about that in just a minute. But I really keep it simple, and I don't even put everything up every year because sometimes we travel and then it doesn't make sense to have stuff up just for the cats because they will play with it when I'm not here. So today I'm going to show you the basics, and it does cover the same things everybody stores, and it's just a matter of increasing the volume if you have more stuff that you're going to keep, if you have a bigger decorating footprint than I do. But all the tips will work, you just use them on more items. So let's get started really quickly here. Oh, I want to turn on the page to make sure I can see if anyone joins in terms of having questions or anything. But really, I'm just going to walk you through what I do to store my Christmas decor, and hopefully it'll help you out in the future. Okay, let me just get situated here because I want to show you the things. But really, the first thing, and always the hardest thing to deal with, let's see if we can see my face at the same time we're talking. How about that? Okay, wreaths. How to store wreaths. They're always very awkward. They're always crazy. I have a small one. I have 2 small ones and a large one for my front gate. So small ones go into a pillowcase, and then the pillowcase just gets folded around it. I made this one. This one is kind of funny. We were talking about it on Facebook last year because there's one very similar that I didn't even follow from Pinterest that people were doing last year. So I made this one myself. I hang it up on the inside of my door because it's pretty and sparkly. Catches the candlelight. But I keep it in its off season just in a pillowcase. So then once I hang it, the pillowcase gets folded and put back on the shelf with the Christmas ornaments that I store. Then, what else do people have? Oh, the big wreath that goes on my front gate. It's a little bigger. So what I do is I take 2 pillow shams and I use binder clips on the corners so that it stays down and it sits flat on a shelf, just like this one does. This one kind of gets nestled in top of the larger one. But it just keeps the dust off and it doesn't get smashed. Then there's a lot of kind of ball ornaments of various styles that people need to save. And I find the biggest mistake people make when they're storing their ball ornaments is either keeping exactly the packaging it came in, which can sometimes be extra bulky, or they wrap everything individually, and that just takes a lot of time. So I came up with this solution a few years ago, and it's these little bins. They're a little bit smaller than you might think, and they stack really nicely, and they have a clip top. But I label the top with which ornaments go in there, and then I stack them. So another trick I have is these are actually plastic because the cats, again, my cats were breaking a lot of things, and so I've switched to mostly plastic ornaments that get hung up or I don't hang very many on my tree. I have a small tinsel tree. It's only 2 feet high. It goes on the table. But what I do with these plastic ones is I fill a couple floor vases so that they're sparkly, but the cats can't actually get to them. And so they're more decorative and to catch the candlelight. These, though, are glass. And what I do is I find a bin that holds the right number, and I put paper around the bottom that nestles. So when you put enough volume, they hold each other in place. So that's a trick. And then you don't have to worry about wrapping them individually. And there is paper in there, and then you can always put more on top if you want. Mine just go on a shelf in a closet, and so I'm not, kind of flipping them upside down to go into the attic or anything like that. So keep in mind, you can always just add an extra piece of tissue on the top that also holds them down. But what I love about these is that I can lay them out, flip them open, and pick and choose what I'm doing. It also works for other shaped things. So I have in here, I have some garland, glass garland, that I also dribble into a vase. So it's here between my very fancy ornaments that this is my bin of mostly special. And then there's a crystal thing in the middle. But see, you just arrange them within the bin to kind of hold each other in place. It saves a lot of time, both while you're decorating and while you're undecorating. And they stack very nicely, and they have these little ridges. Then for more, more things that come kind of in their own cases, I use these bigger clear bins. And the reason I do that is so I can see, and like I said, I don't use everything every year. It kind of depends on how much I'm going to be home. And so if I can say this is what I've got, I'm going to grab the icicles to hang in the window, because I do I hang these in the windows. So I have these. These pencil boxes are really great for garlands and smaller ornaments. And it's the same thing. You just get as many as you can fit, and they go in there, and they're labeled on the top. I have all my garlands in these. Keeps them from getting tangled, and you don't have to put a lot of extra packaging around them. When we go to Sedona, I take my tree, I take one little thing of ornaments, and the tree topper, which is actually in the other bin. I have like a snow globe in here, but it's the only thing that's kind of in its own packaging. Everything else is its own thing. I have a nativity set and a couple kind of legacy ornaments that I don't actually use because they're actually kind of broken, but they're from when I was a little kid, and I still kind of like them. And another thing, a garland. So I just use what are easy to stack and arrange in these bins. They're clear. I can see the 2 or 3 boxes I need to grab out of them. Like things are together, so the things I use together are stored together. And I also take a photograph of how I have the things stacked in the bin in my Evernote. So if I ever, for whatever reason, can't quite figure out how I had things in there, I have a photo so that I can get everything back into the bin. And then there's the one more bigger bin. So do you see how they're kind of graduated? The biggest one has the awkward shaped stuff. It too is labeled on the side. It's clear. There's a photo in the Evernote, so I know where things are. But this is where I have kind of the base to my Christmas tree, the garland, and the skirt that goes with me when we travel. So I can take it for my niece and nephew to enjoy an actual tree. And there's garland, and I have a Santa Claus statue in the bottom that is wrapped in, it's like a foam cushioning thing, so I don't have to worry about it tearing or breaking, and it just gets kind of wrapped over that. And that's it. That's all my Christmas decorations, the inside stuff. I do have garland and lights for outside, and those are stored in a basket. They're wrapped around the garland is attached to the lights, and then it's wrapped around some spools, and it's stored in a basket in my living room. Lives there all year long. It looks like a basket, but what happens is having the lights and the bows are laid across the top within the basket, and it keeps the basket sturdy enough so that the cat can sleep on top of the basket without the basket collapsing, because it's kind of a softer style basket. But I hide it in plain sight. No need for extra storage for the Christmas ornaments. I have plenty of garland, plenty of sparkly, plenty of ornaments, and I get a real cozy feeling, and it only takes up the 4 boxes. How cool is that? It all fits within my coat closet shelf, and I can see it, I can arrange it, it keeps the dust off, and it's very easy for me to know when something broke and may need to get replaced the next year because there's a big empty hole in the thing. But it gives me a variety of ways to decorate really fast. And that's how I'm able to decorate my entire house in about 2 hours tops. And that includes kind of cleaning the vases and hanging the garland. So not bad, right? Anyway, hope some of these suggestions help. There's no need to individually wrap everything, and some of the packaging that things come in, especially these days, these plastic boxes seem to hold them together really nicely, but then they stack really well within a larger bin. These clear ones you can get at office supply stores. It's actually a filing box. I love them because they're straighter sides than a lot of the specifically Christmas style bins that are red and green and you can't really see in them. So I like the clear ones. I like to take a picture. I like to keep it as easy as possible. Just cushion on the bottom, cushion on the top, and label on the outside of the bin as well. Anyway, I hope that helped, gave you some ideas for how to store your stuff. Happy holidays. Oh, don't forget, if you go to morethanorganized.net, there's lots of free resources on there about clutter control, productivity, and how to deal with your space. So, see you next Monday. Bye.